Well, Emma James is here to talk a bit more about that as part of tonight's Media Watch. Hello there, Emma. And as we just heard there, this is increasingly a problem for female journalists, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's certainly not new, but I think the advent of social media and the fact that it's so easy to share these images and this information means that it feels like it is happening absolutely everywhere. 3 cases that we know of. The New York Times is among those reporting on this, using the words of one of those female reporters, "Never do this to a woman." But as I said, it certainly isn't new. Ketavan Gorgistani obviously had tweeted her own experiences with the hashtag #LetHerWork. Many people really in agreement that this should be a message that is pushed forward, especially now in the wake of Me Too and Time's Up. This woman says this shows why those movements are needed. Some people believe it's all gone too far, but this really shows the reason why we need those kind of movements. And the idea that you can go and do your job and someone feels that they can do that just because you're a woman and you're reporting on sport. Now, not everyone says the same thing. It's a kiss, get over it, says this gentleman. Interestingly, though, that reporter from Deutsche Welle tweeted that the violent act of a fan is sad, but what is even worse is the reaction of those who do not see it as harassment. So there's her tweet. Before that, there's another one where he basically feels it's ridiculous. It's all gone too far. People are just getting ridiculous about this whole issue. Was she frightened? Was she hurt? Did she feel threatened? Well, I imagine that she probably did feel threatened and possibly a little frightened too. Looking elsewhere, well, as I said, it's not new. This hashtag was actually launched back in March, done in Brazil. It was a particular campaign. They created this video too to really show the kind of thing that is normal for Brazilian female sports presenters and reporters out in the field. One saying that no woman in sports journalism in Brazil has not been subject to some kind of violence. So we're not just talking about somebody trying to steal a kiss. This can go an awful lot further. Interestingly, back in 2016, people looked at the phenomenon of sexual harassment and abuse on social media of female sports reporters. This was a video that ended up winning the Peabody Award. It is incredibly powerful. Take a look at just a short excerpt of, basically, these are real sports fans. They didn't write these tweets. They're reading them out loud to the women who they were sent to. Take a look.
There's a lot of C word.
There's a lot of C words, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope your dog gets hit by a car, you
Hopefully this skank Julie DeCaro is Bill Cosby's next victim. That would be classic.
I hope your boyfriend beats you. I'm sorry.
Pretty nasty stuff there.
Very nasty stuff. And it was interesting to see that if you watch the full video, many of the men struggled to actually read out these things. They were so offensive and they kept apologising to the women, but they were asked to continue and they did so. It is very moving and well worth taking a second look at. But the media today has a responsibility too in terms of how it reports what happens here. Deutsche Welle News tweeting this, "Not all heroes wear capes," saying that these women are heroes for standing up to the men who do this kind of thing. However, when they went on to report the apology of the man who we saw grabbing...
They tracked him down, right?
They tracked him down, and you look at the headline there and it says it's a misunderstanding. Now, it's in quotation marks, but you do rather wonder why they felt the need to be quite so much on his side. And it goes even further in this. The Evening Standard, a London newspaper, says Russian football fan apologises to reporter he kissed on cheek and groped. Interesting, the order of that one. Now, this is written by a woman, but she says that he's apologised for kissing and inadvertently groping a female sports reporter during a live World Cup broadcast. I don't know how this can be classed as inadvertent. It is very obvious. He places his hand very deliberately on her chest, and it does seem strange that people are so quick to really jump to the defence of these men who do these things. This woman saying, "Unwanted kissing and groping is not a joke to impress your friends with. It is sexual harassment. Be a real man and stop it." Because he said he was told to do it by a friend. It was a bet.
It's all for a bet. It's always for a bet, isn't it?
Exactly.
I bet he's feeling rather silly now anyway. Let's hope he rethinks his actions next time. All right, let's move on to something else, because this weekend The city of Paris is celebrating gay pride, and a lot of people showing their true colours.
Yes, absolutely. Very, very quickly, because we're almost out of time, but the Marais area of Paris is probably the most gay-friendly, well-known area for this kind of thing. La Marche des Fiertés takes place this Saturday. These rainbow colours were put on pedestrian crossings. Unfortunately, somebody saw fit to paint over them and leave a homophobic message saying, gays out of France.
Oh, no.
However, Parisians jumped to the defence and actually used chalk to actually colour them back in, and now the Paris mayor has said they are going to be put back permanently as a reminder to the fact that we should all be welcoming our gay brethren to the fold.
All right, Emma, thank you very much indeed. Emma James there.